How big are we in the European Union? Who will listen to us? We will lose identity.
Icelandic membership of the EU would be very beneficial for us.
I don't see any gain for Iceland.
I think Iceland is part of Europe.
Joining the EU would be bad for us.
We are a member of the European family.
Tan lejos y sin embargo tan cerca de Europa, entre miedos, esperanzas, dudas y una nueva e incierta situación geopolítica internacional, Islandia decide qué relación tener con la Unión Europea. Dentro o fuera, indagamos pros y contras en Euronews Investigates. Para empezar, nuestra exploración nos adentra en la atormentada geología de la isla. Inaugurada hace apenas un año, esta exhibición inmersiva ya ha atraído a 150.000 visitantes. Christian es su director general.
You live on a volcano in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Our ancestors, I would say they were probably totally mental. I mean, they lived here knowing all this, knowing that it was easier somewhere else. You get used to the weather, you get used to the earthquakes, to the volcanoes happening every 5 years on average. I was brought up that you should just like a little bit survive on your own.
Unos 400.000 islandeses viven sobre una herida tectónica abierta entre los continentes europeo y americano. Estas geografías y geología extremas han forjado aquí un fuerte sentimiento de pertenencia.
To be self-sufficient. I think that should be a goal for every nation. We are European. That's what we are, even if majority of our export is in US dollars.
Así pues, Islandia parece vivir en una encrucijada permanente. Ya integrado en la OTAN, el espacio económico europeo, el mercado único y el espacio Schengen. El país vota en referéndum el 29 de agosto si reanuda las negociaciones de adhesión a la Unión Europea, suspendidas desde 2013. Un paseo entre terrazas veraniegas demuestra lo polarizada que está la sociedad islandesa.
I don't want the euro, first of all, and I think we get less say in our own country if we're under another country. So yeah, I don't want that.
Also, we're getting kind of pressured to join, but there's no reason. They say they're going to help us, but they never help us. The best way to be, we close the borders, we stop with the European Union, we just get Iceland again.
I think it's give and take. It's like we have more to lose, but we have
where is the gift?
Much to gain.
What do we gain?
There's a lot of things.
We lose all our rights. We lose our language. We lose our coins. What do we gain?
We have such a little market, so for us the opportunity to gain closer connection to Europe, I think is a benefit for us. So yeah, I'm for the European Union.
It's obvious for me to if you want to be a part of Europe, you have to be a part of the whole. You cannot just cherry pick the stuff you want and ask for help when you want.
I think the options way better than the downsides of joining the European Union. And for example, when you think about other countries in the European Union, you would never think that they would at any point lose their sovereignty.
Los sectores pesquero y agrícola concentran las preocupaciones euroescépticas. El rechazo a la UE en las zonas rurales alcanza el 80%, según algunos sondeos. Viajamos al corazón agrícola del país, hasta esta explotación familiar establecida hace 50 años. Stefan cría unas 270 cabezas de ganado, incluidas 70 vacas lecheras. Explica que actualmente diversos aranceles específicos protegen a muchos productos agrícolas islandeses frente al mercado único. Teme que una adhesión plena a la Unión Europea suponga una avalancha de importaciones agroalimentarias más baratas frente a las que los agricultores locales simplemente no podrán competir.
We are placed in we're an island close to the Arctic Circle. We have short growing season. We are not able to produce food at as low cost as in Europe. We need a lot of things imported for our business, and they are more expensive than in continental Europe. For example, fertilizer, fuel, service parts, and etc. We have examples from Finland where the farmers' price of their products dropped 40% when they joined the EU, and many farmers went, out of business. If we lose the market, I think no subsidies can, make up for that. For the last 30 years here in Iceland, at least, I feel like we are in a good shape now, and any uncertainty with joining the EU and the common market would be bad for us. The farmers are kind of the backbone of the rural societies, the communities, and if we lose our conventional way of our farming, and I'm afraid that the many rural communities would be affected by this.
Los temores en el ámbito rural se extienden al control de enfermedades animales. Solo un puñado de las más de 200 enfermedades del ganado catalogadas por la Organización Mundial de Sanidad Animal son aquí endémicas. La apertura de fronteras del mercado único para animales vivos pondría en peligro a todo el sector, afirma este antiguo ganadero e inspector agrícola, militante activo contra la plena adhesión a la UE.
We don't have any special problems with the European regulations for animal welfare, as long as our competitors are following them too. But we are very worried about disease control, because we think that in the EU there are very lax regulations about moving animals between countries, and they are not really very careful about disease prevention. But horses, for example, we can export them to parts of the world. But if we do export them, even if it's just for competition, then we are not allowed to bring them back. And this is how strict our regulations are.
La pesca es el otro gran sector económico abiertamente euroescéptico. Las actividades pesqueras representan alrededor del 8% del PIB del país y emplean al 4% de su fuerza laboral. Agosto trabaja en un arrastrero que captura bacalao y abadejo. Al día siguiente de nuestra entrevista tenía previsto iniciar una campaña de pesca de 3 semanas. Los sistemas de cuota de la UE perjudicarían enormemente a la industria pesquera local y ese no sería el único riesgo, explica.
The majority of the companies who are in fish industry are family companies. Often the captain is the owner, so when he gets to a certain age, he needs to sell. If there is an open market through Europe, it's really easy for European companies who are willing to buy themselves in Icelandic fish industry. We don't know what would happen when that happens. Fish industry is in the blood of Icelanders. It will never end, but it's going to change.
Concluimos la entrevista y un restaurador de barcos se une a la conversación.
How big are we in the European Union? Who will listen to us? We will lose identity because their rules will apply to Iceland more and more. And we cannot take that. We have independence in our blood.
Ahora carpintero, antes era pescador, vivió más de una década en Dinamarca.
The argument here is that we will have a more stable society, stable economy. Okay, we have through all the ages, our economy has gone up and gone down and up and down and up and down, and we have just had to live with that. I cannot believe that we will be feeling good in under or in that complex party that is the European Union. We will feel suffocation, I guess.
Alrededor del 75% de la legislación islandesa ya se ajusta a las normativas europeas en los ámbitos social, medioambiental o económico, por ejemplo. Es más que suficiente, afirma el fundador del principal grupo euroescéptico del país, profesor de física atmosférica en la Universidad de Islandia.
Many laws that are created in the European Union, they may be quite good for Iceland, but all the laws are based on the interests and the needs of the big countries in continental Europe, and not the needs of Iceland. The economy of Iceland is based on natural resources. It's not highly industrialized in the same manner as in Central Europe. And to some extent the culture is also different. There is, for instance, no military tradition in Iceland whatsoever. Apart from this, of course, it's going to be very, very costly to be a member of the European Union for Iceland. There will be a constant flow of money from Iceland to Europe.
El movimiento euroescéptico florece además en torno al temor de que una adhesión plena hará perder aún más control en fronteras y políticas de inmigración y socavará soberanía. Escuchemos, por ejemplo, a este taxista.
Iceland is different, you know, we are allowed to drive on top of the snow, outside of the road, but when you go into like a bureaucratic, Brussels seems to be showing us, that will probably not be allowed, you know, because it's not in the rule book.
Sin embargo, incluso él reconoce que el país se enfrenta a desafíos económicos de su propia creación, sin soluciones claras a la vista.
We need so to say, a bigger currency. Our currency is basically, you know, not bigger than a Disney money, basically. So the downside, obviously, is that the mortgages are expensive, the loans are expensive. There is always going to be an inflation.
La estabilidad económica es, de hecho, uno de los pilares fundamentales para los defensores de la causa europeísta. La moneda nacional, la corona, ha sido históricamente propensa a sufrir devaluaciones repentinas con un enorme impacto económico, incluida una elevada inflación. Aquí los tipos de interés son aproximadamente 3 veces más altos que los fijados por el Banco Central Europeo. Una plena adhesión a la UE y la adopción del euro garantizarían estabilidad económica para generaciones venideras, afirma este diputado de origen polaco al frente de la Comisión de Asuntos Exteriores del Parlamento.
It's fair to assume that Iceland would be a net payer when it comes to the European Union, but you know, looking at those numbers, I think that it's been calculated in Icelandic kroner that would mean at 10 or 15 billion kroner each year. Just the savings for the homes when it comes to lower interest rates would maybe save the Icelandic consumers 100 million kroner each year. The benefits for the homes and the consumers are of such magnitude that it's very easy to justify this cost.
Pero incluso en este punto los expertos parecen discrepar. Erna es economista y trabaja como asesora independiente. La economía de Islandia es tan particular que aventurar qué es mejor o peor resulta una tarea sumamente difícil, afirma.
We are subject to all sorts of different shocks for the economy than the countries in the Eurozone or the EU, like fishing stocks. Sometimes you have low catch in certain species that are economically important, and also we have these shocks from natural disasters like earthquakes and volcanoes. If you are stuck with a currency that doesn't adjust to your fluctuations in the economy, you end up with either having to borrow more money for the state or cut down expenditure on other issues.
Más allá de la economía, las nuevas realidades geopolíticas internacionales están influyendo considerablemente en el debate. Los conflictos en Ucrania y Oriente Medio, junto con mensajes contradictorios de la administración estadounidense, han generado una creciente sensación de excesivo aislamiento. Este profesor universitario de ciencias políticas preside una plataforma que aboga por estrechar vínculos con la Unión Europea. Sostiene que desde un punto de vista estratégico, Islandia no puede permitirse permanecer tan aislada en un escenario mundial cada vez más inestable.
We see the United States, our main ally, making threats against our sovereign neighbor, Greenland, against Denmark, which is a solid NATO ally, against Canada. Can we still rely on the United States? So this variable has come in to join the European Union for security reasons. National security means a lot of other things than just like defending against a full-scale invasion. Today we see that security threats are much more subtle. We are under constant attack by Russian bots and Russian misinformation and all sorts of actors that are trying to influence our infrastructure, attacking our websites, attacking our energy infrastructures, and they need to be secured. So there's a lot of things that the European Union can help with in that respect.
La Unión Europea, de hecho, considera a Islandia como un activo estratégico y democrático. Pero lo cierto es que, aunque sujeto a y alineado con numerosas políticas de la UE, el país permanece fuera de las instituciones comunitarias, perdiendo así influencia en la toma de decisiones. Esta diputada pertenece a la Alianza Socialdemócrata, cuya lideresa es la actual primera ministra. La postura inequívocamente europeísta del actual gobierno es la mejor forma de defender los intereses del país, afirma.
We have zero influence now. Having a seat at the table, that would be a dramatic change for the Icelandic public, where we have political representation to fight for Icelandic interests. And nobody fights for Iceland except Iceland. This has to do with inner market issues. This has to do with energy, environmental issues such as in cross-border flights, where the special needs of islands that are far away from the mainland of Europe, such as the Canary Islands, just to name an example, we see that their interests are being defended by Spain, for example. These interests aren't being secured by Icelandic officials.
Más allá de las instituciones políticas, el debate ha calado en el tejido socioeconómico islandés, con conclusiones abiertamente antagónicas. Fundada en 1994 y con 62 empleados, esta empresa facturó el año pasado casi 25 millones de euros comercializando productos químicos de lubricación y recambios para automóviles. La mayor parte de sus importaciones procede de Europa. El negocio marcha bien tal y como está y no es necesaria una mayor integración en la UE, afirma su director ejecutivo.
The current situation is quite sufficient, and I've been in this trade for over 30 years, and it has slowly gotten better year by year. Iceland, in 2016, we put all tariffs aside, so we have zero tariffs between Europe and Iceland today, except on few food products. So importing products from Europe, Asia, or the US is quite easy and quite, let's say, transparent.
En el otro extremo del espectro nos reunimos con una empresaria fervientemente pro-europea. Helga ha vivido en los Países Bajos y en Brasil. Es fundadora y directora de una agencia de viajes que atrae turistas a Islandia. El país, afirma, necesita abrirse más para poder prosperar.
We are a new democracy. We've only been here since 1944 as fully independent, and I get it that people are skeptical, but we are so much in the EU already with the EEA. So I think, why not look at how beneficial it could be for us to be fully in it with all the benefits. And also, yes, EU is not perfect, but Iceland is not perfect either, as it is now. I think mainly, in the housing, the loan, the krona, in the interest rates, all of these things, it's really weird how we have it here. I think it's not very good for the young people of this country if we're going to continue this path. I think we need to look at other options, how we can make their lives better. We cannot isolate ourselves. Again, I don't think that's going to be possible in the future.
Una integración completa en la Unión Europea o statu quo. La isla volcánica se asienta sobre fuerzas sociopolíticas, además de tectónicas, muy activas, que moldean incansablemente su futuro.